It's time for baseball's last frontier, stories from the Pecos League, the podcast that will open your door to baseball's entry level, telling you the stories of the teams, players, and coaches of an independent minor league circuit. I'm your host, Bruce McClure, and I have the pleasure of introducing you to my friend, partner, and co-host, Evan Katz. Evan, how are you?
Bruce, greetings again. I know you're up in central New Hampshire. I'm here on the Atlantic Ocean, as I have been for the past few weeks. We have the pleasure this week of having Kobe Head, pitcher on the Roswell Invaders. The backstory on Kobe's joining Roswell was, as I was recruiting last winter, I used LinkedIn, and Kobe was looking around for a fifth place to pitch. He was graduating from the University of Delaware with a very strong college record. He has his eyes on affiliated baseball, and he signed up to join the Invaders. As it turns out, the day that I left, I think it was June 4th, to come home due to a family illness, Kobe was flying into Roswell. So I've never met Kobe, but I've been following him, and he is having a really strong season with the Invaders. And I want to say congratulations to Kobe for his great work as a professional. And how's the transition from college to pro baseball, Kobe?
Well, thanks for having me, man. I mean, the transition was pretty smooth, just being a competitor, but, you got to be on your A game every day out here, and it's been a real great experience being a pro baseball player, and I love it here in Roswell, man.
How did it go? I think a lot of people know that colleges, you play games on the weekends and a couple during the week, and one of the big transitions is being prepared to play every day. How did you make that transition, Kobe?
Really just staying mentally focused, talking to some guys who's played affiliate ball on my team. You have my shortstop. He's played for the Braves organization, and he does really well. He's an all-star, and he just tells me every day you got to put your hard hat on and be ready to go. So
that's Luis Moreno. He was an all-star, right? Wasn't he an all-star for the Pecos League this year?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So tell us a little bit more about your background. I went and looked, and you've been almost like a baseball gypsy. I think you've played in 3 summer college leagues. You've played at 3 different colleges. Now you're in Roswell, and you're hoping to move up to pro baseball. How does it work for a pitcher to move from team to team and level to level? And tell us a little bit about your baseball journey and how you progressed to get to the University of Delaware and on to Roswell.
Well, what they say, man, baseball, it's all about who you know. So, I mean, I've been playing for a long time, and my dream was to always play Division I baseball. And I had the pleasure to do that for 3 teams. So, the transfer portal, with that being out now, that kind of helps with players moving around, playing in different areas and locations. So me going to Delaware was just going in the transfer portal for my senior year because I had a pretty decent career at Texas Southern, but it wasn't where I wanted it to be. So I hit the transfer portal. I had really a lot of teams hit me up: University of Ohio, North Carolina A&T, a lot of HBCUs, but I chose Delaware State because they had more of a family-oriented coaching staff, and that's where I like, a coach that's close to you and make sure you're gonna be ready to go every day, and that's why being in Roswell has helped me, and I think going on, I'm gonna just be moving up, man, because I'm working every day, I'm sacrificing, and honestly, man, you gotta love it. You want to be great, you got to love it. So, I mean, my baseball journey's been all over the place, man. I've been to almost 50 states. It's crazy to say, but, I'm just really blessed to be playing this game still, and I'm ready to continue playing it.
Could you talk a little more about how it's worked out well for you in Roswell? I mean, in college, you work on a pretty routine. You're on a bus, and you know everybody, and it's a very, as you point out, a very a comfortable, supportive environment. You get out to Roswell, the weather's hot. You're traveling a lot between cities, and the heat. How has Roswell worked well? I think a lot of guys can wilt in that desert heat and under the game and travel conditions. Well, what's made a difference for you in Roswell?
That is right. The heat is a killer out here. But really, staying mentally focused, staying mentally prepared, just, baseball is a mental game. So you just want to be mentally strong and just focus on what you're there for, being where your feet are. That's mostly where um, I come in at. I be where my feet are a lot. So me having success on the field is just me being there and me being ready to go. So, um, of course, I played on higher divisions than some people, but you know, just giving effort every day and putting your heart in it, I don't think anyone can go there with me because I just love the game and I have this different passion and competitive edge that I just want to be there every day. I don't care if it's 106 degrees, you know what I mean? So just, making sure the game is still fun, being mentally strong because you're going to fail more than you do than you're going to win. So just me being young and having this much knowledge right now is going to carry me a long way, man. And I'm just, Roswell, it's not a bad place, man. It's just this desert. There's a lot of desert out here.
So I was looking at your stats. I think you went, normally you're a 1 to 2 inning pitcher. And a few days ago, you had a great 3 innings against Alpine. I think they're 36-4. What allowed you to go that extra inning? And I think did you have 9 up, 9 down in those innings?
Yes, sir.
What talk about your mental approach when you're seeing a lineup that's filled with guys hitting over 400 and OPS is over 1,000. How do you get yourself through that mentally?
Honestly, just going out there and being you. I mean, being yourself is going to take you a long way and trying to try so hard and, thinking a lot. When I'm on the mound, I mainly just think about what pitch can I throw to help my defense get this out. I mean, I want to strike out some guys, but my main focus is throwing strikes and make sure my defense is engaged and involved. So me coming from a D1 program, it's honestly, I don't fear anyone when I go out on the field. So I love competing. I love playing with the best of the best, and I think that's what separates me from some of other pitchers.
Any moments as you've pitched probably a dozen times, maybe a little bit more. Any games come to mind that in the Pecos League in the last month or so, where when you left the field that night, you felt like you learned something or you grew as a pitcher and a pro player?
For sure, most definitely. I definitely learned something when I started against Trinidad. It wasn't my best outing, probably one of my worst ones, but I just learned, because I'm usually a reliever, and they wanted me to spot start because one of our pitchers got hurt. And I'm always up for a job. I want to be there for the team, and I want to help as much as possible. But I learned mostly through that outing is it doesn't matter who you're facing, just go right at them. You know what I mean? You don't have to be perfect or anything. Just go out there and compete. I've played a lot of players, and there's actually a lot of players that I've played that's going to get drafted this week. Mm-hmm. And the most things that they do that's different from the other players is that they don't really think. They just play, have fun like a little kid. And I think that's where I learned from my last outing is I was trying to take it too serious, and it ended up going the way I wanted it to. But,
you mean against Trinidad, you took it a little bit too seriously?
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
Especially me starting, and I like relieving, but going into that start, I had a pretty decent ERA and everything, and I just let a lot of stuff just get in my head before the start, and I felt great. So it's just sometimes you just gotta let go, just play ball, have fun, and just let your work do the stuff itself.
So how was it different for you having to start, I mean, normally you relieve. Talk about your mindset as a reliever. What do you, when you're warming up in the bullpen and you know you've got to hold the lead for your team or hold the deficit for your team, what's your mindset when you're out there in the bullpen and then you come walking into the mound?
My mindset coming in as a reliever is just come in and attack guys. So obviously you got to be a bulldog. You got to be that fearless competitor when you come in the game as a reliever, opposed to when you're starting and you want to be more relaxed, have more of a stamina so you can last longer. But as a reliever, I'm coming in, I'm letting everything out. I want to be there. I want to dominate, and I want to challenge everyone who steps in the box with me. So, I mean, relieving, you want to be more of an aggressor, I would say.
Mm-hmm. I saw the clip of the inning against Alpine. Do you have a little bit of a swagger out there on the mound?
Most definitely. I like to carry myself with a more new age baseball charisma, a little pep in my step. That's the way I keep myself going.
And I noticed it on, and it seemed to be just about right. There was a sense of presence and a little bit of I'm out here, and like you point out, I'm the aggressor, but it didn't seem like you overdo it. It was were you just trying to send a message to the batter?
Yes, sir. That's kind of my message. I'm here, and I'm here to fight with you, man. We're going to go to war.
No, you were not on the All-Star team, correct?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, well, I just want to let our listeners know that your ERA right now is 4.05, which is probably about half the league average. Here in New England, we still brag about Pedro Martinez when he had a 1.9 something ERA or a 2.1 something ERA, and the league average was over 4. And your ERA is about half the league average. And if they were going to be doing a story about all-star snubs, I know you wouldn't take it personally, but you certainly could have been on that team with the record that you've compiled. Did that concern you at all?
Not really. I congratulate everyone who made it, and everything. God has better plans for some people, but I would have loved to make that All-Star game. Snubbed or not.
So what has been you're leaving to go to the MLB Draft League in a few days, right?
Yes, sir.
We'll talk about that in a second, but what are the memories that you're going to take from the Pecos League when you're up there in Ohio in a week or so, and you think back to the Pecos League and the 5 weeks that you were there? What are you going to remember?
Honestly, I'm gonna remember. Obviously, I'm gonna remember some of the people I've came across here. I met some great people here in Roswell, some players that played affiliated ball before where I want to go. But I'm honestly going to take, like, the experiences, like these drives and, like the scarcity and resources, that some places don't have. But the Pecos League is a grind, man. It's a real grind with some ballers here. So I would just take being humble. This has been a humbling experience for me, especially with how the schedule and everything is handled here. So I would just say taking my humbleness over to the MLB Draft League and, being ready to compete there too.
Who are the people that have given you a boost? I know you're a humble guy and all that, but why don't you give a shout out to the people that have really helped you out in these few weeks?
First, I want to give a shout out to Guy. He's given me so much strength being here that I've endured. And I want to shout out Robert Malone, my center fielder. He's been hurt for a little bit, but he just came back, helped us beat Alpine. That man is a real grinder. He's played in different leagues, Pioneer, Frontier, and he's a real baller. He helps me out. He's an older guy, veteran, so he kind of kind of like the big brother to me. He gives me some feedback on after every outing. He'll tell me what I did, and I appreciate him. Another one is Luis Moreno. He's a great leader on the field, vocal, and in the locker room. He's a great guy. Played for the Braves organization. Definitely see him going back there in the next few months or years here. And I also want to give one more shout out to Coach
Garrett.
Coach Garrett Tidy. Yeah,
Yep. He's a hard worker.
Yeah, great manager. You know, sometimes he doesn't really show it, but he really cares for you. You know what I mean? Just giving me the chance to come play here, and I can't really thank him enough, man. Because I hope my life changes in the next few days, and I can be able to get this free agent contract here. I've been working hard here in New Mexico, and I'm just ready to keep going.
Bruce, you want to take us to want to transport Kobe to Ohio here for a few moments before we wrap up and let him talk about the MLB Draft League?
Well, Kobe is moving on to the Mahoning Valley Scrappers of the MLB Draft League. You are going to be when are you arriving there, Kobe?
I'll be arriving July 18th on my flight. So I'll go there and I'll go to the stadium, receive everything, figure out my stay in my hotel and everything. So around July 18th, July 19th.
Gee, I just noticed that Thursday, July 18th is a sold-out game for Mahoning. So did they sell that park out for you?
Man, hopefully, man. Hopefully I can come in there and see some fans, man.
Mahoning Valley is a beautiful little ballpark. I think you're going to like it. Now this is the free agent half of the draft league, correct?
Yes, sir.
It is for professional players who've exhausted their amateur eligibility. You receive housing, meal money, and such. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So what is the focus for you moving forward into this league? Will you be working on certain things to get noticed by a major league club, or is this a showcase for you? What's next?
So now this is just me getting ready to get seen by major league scouts and getting, the right analytics and stuff so they can see what my RPM is, my horizontal rates and my velos and everything. So now this is kind of just a step forward to possibly getting a contract to go play for a professional team, whether it's free agent deal or they purchase me from the draft league. So now it's just me trying to get myself into the farm system.
So this is a real showcase for you. Did they find you in LinkedIn or did they scout you in the Pecos League?
They scouted me in the Pecos League, and my agent kind of put a word in for me.
Okay. How much success have you had in gaining contacts and networking with LinkedIn? I'm very interested in this because I've never seen a ball player do this before.
Well, I actually had a pro coach tell me just get on there. Like if you finish college and you don't want to play, keep on playing. You can get a great job out of LinkedIn and just, you can network and find people. And I'm actually good at networking. That's what I like. I like the digital world, the technology. That's what it's come to nowadays. Yep. So now I use LinkedIn as just, finding coaches. You can find anything on there. It's really just a place where you can like market yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually not bad. I'm kind of still getting used to it, but it's a great place to market yourself.
Finally, a positive story about things going on social media. I know LinkedIn is a little bit different. It's more business media, but finally something positive about somebody posting something online. We see so much these days that is negative. So that's a terrific little story about getting your name out there and becoming known and getting noticed. And now here we are. You're going to Mahoning Valley to that draft league. And I think they sold the park out for you on the 18th. I really do.
Man, I think so too.
What's your best pitch?
Kobe, do you have you talked to any of the staff there? Do you know how they're going to work you in? What you're going to, in terms of workload or things to concentrate on? Is it going to be mostly in front of cameras and analytics? What's the plan as far as you know? I know you have a bit, based on what your conversations with them. What's going to be happening the first few days or first week or two?
Well, we're going to be having, meet and greets and everything, media days and all of that, more stuff than here in the Pecos, obviously. But honestly, I think he's just going to try to get all the guys that's looking to play pro. And, our resumes are going to do the work itself. But, we're working with MLB coaches every day. So it's going to, or former coaches, I should say. So it's going to help all of us get our, some guys may get drafted out of there. Who knows, So it's just showing up, being ready, being where your feet are. Same thing I'm doing here in the Pecos. I want to go do there in the draft league,
So you'll be active. I mean, you'll be ready to pitch from the day you get there.
Yes.
Okay. So you'll be active, ready to go. Got it. Okay.
All right. I know Kobe's got to get out of here because he's got to catch a ride to the ballpark. But before you go, Cody, what's your best pitch?
My best pitch, probably my 12-6 curveball.
Nice.
It's a lot of spin on there. It's hard to hit with a wood bat.
And we're not talking about throwing it through the back wall. We're throwing the curve. I love it. This is awesome. Hey, Kobe, this has been fantastic. I really appreciate you coming out to do this today. And I know you got to catch a ride. So we're going to get you out of here. You keep pitching. You keep grinding. We want to see you in the major leagues someday so that when I'm sitting at home watching TV, I can say, wait a minute. I know that guy.
Yes, sir. Most definitely, man. Thanks for having me, man. Seriously.
We appreciate you doing this, man.
Thanks so much, Kobe. You can just drop off the conference call and Bruce and I will pick it up from here.
We'll see you soon, brother.
Yes, sir. See you guys.
Thanks, Kobe. Take care.
Well, that was fantastic. He's a great kid.
Oh, he's good. I got to tell you about the story, Bruce, about recruiting him.
Yes.
I was on LinkedIn as when I was recruiting, I figured I'll put out I actually created a recruiting poster for Roswell, and I put it up on LinkedIn, and Kobe responded. One of the things that I learned about pitchers is that sometimes you have to dig, and I saw his stats at University of Delaware. And his ERA was okay, and but he had a lot of strikeouts, didn't walk too many guys. But with relievers, it's a little bit different. You have to dig in. So Kobe, by the end of the year, had pitched in about 20 games. At the time I found him, he pitched only about 10. But with relievers, if you have one or two bad outings, it can really skew your season data. And if you pull out the two lousy games that he had, I think his ERA was sub-2 and his WHIP was well below 1. And that's one of the real tricks about one thing to recruit starting pitchers that build up innings really quickly, but with relievers, you have to look at some of the underlying data. And a lot of times you just have to look, if a guy is walking a lot of guys, is he not giving up hits? Because that tells you when he gets the ball over the plate that he gets a lot of swing and misses or a lot of foul balls. So the whole question of recruiting pitchers, you have to look at the underlying data to really see what's going on. And Copley's a good example, and he has made the transition really well, obviously, from college to Roswell.
Well, this is where analytics helps a kid like that, because you're not looking just at the baseball card stats. You're looking at a lot. You're looking a lot deeper than you would be on average. And I wonder sometimes when we talk about analytics, what would have happened had all of these new rate stats and analysis, for lack of a better term, happened in the 60s, in the 70s. How many other guys, how many would we be talking about today that hung on and became great because of analytics as opposed to the baseball card stats? It's an interesting topic,
right,
to consider.
Right. Right. I mean, on base percentage wasn't really discussed back then.
Right.
And obviously OPS, and then for pitchers, it was wins and ERA.
Yep.
And,
wasn't even saves. It wasn't even saves until the 70s.
Right. I mean, I think it's really ironic. The save as a statistic became official in 1969, but you can go to Baseball Reference. They've retroactively credited saves for the hundreds of years of baseball prior to that.
Yep, that's true. That's true. And I firmly believe that many of the independent leagues that are thriving today are based on the fact that they've used analytics to go out and find these players that are good for their level and hopefully give them the boost that they need to get them to affiliated baseball.
Absolutely. And when I was recruiting Kobe, one other story about that, he, because of his use of social media and he created his own, recently his own recruiting poster. I had a recruiting poster for the Invaders. He now has a recruiting poster on LinkedIn with his professional background. But he told me when we were talking in April that he was talking about going to Tucson. And I think people might know that Tucson and Alpine are the two strongest teams in the league. They have dozens and dozens of players at their training camps. And I actually recruited Kobe to come to Roswell. And the pitch that I made was, if you come to Roswell, you will get the innings and the situations that you need to demonstrate your ability to move up. Now, I don't know that he wouldn't have gotten that in Tucson, but I knew that most of the players weren't returning to Roswell, and I figured that a player with his background and his credentials, he would really be able to shine. And as it turns out, I think he's got in he arrived late. He started on June 5th. Between June 5th and July 11th, I think he's got about 15 or 16 appearances. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that had he gone to Tucson, and he might have gotten the appearances, maybe he only would have had half of that. And maybe his trajectory would have been different. So, I'm pleased that I was able to convince him to come to Roswell and contribute to the Invaders season. But it also helped him get the visibility he needed to move up to the MLB Draft League.
Well, let's hope Kobe gets to Mahoning Valley and lights it up out there. I think that'd be kind of cool. You wanted to talk a little bit about the Pecos League All-Star game, didn't you?
Right. Yeah. So, the All-Star game was yesterday, the 14th. It was in Santa Fe. This is a Mountain Division All-Star game, obviously, and the South, the Southern four teams beat the North 14-11 as a typical Pecos League score.
Low scoring.
The most valuable player was Marcus Bracey from the Blackwell Flycatchers, alumna of the Austin Weirdos. Marcus was my catcher last year when I pitched for Austin against Alpine, and I was so glad to see that he was the MVP of the All-Star game. Also in the Pecos League, Austin has won a couple more games. We talked to Alex Westman last week. Austin has now won their 7th game, 7 more than last year. They're 7-31. A few weeks ago, we talked to Todd Everless, the manager of the North Platte 80s. They actually pulled together 3 wins in a row. Todd was really pleased. I did text with him a little bit, and he got a couple of new players, made some roster changes. North Platte now has 9 wins. And then the Invaders, as of the All-Star break, are 4 games ahead in the second wild card spot. The record for the Invaders is only 17-23, under 500, because Alpine is 37-4, and Tucson, the other rival in the Mountain South, is 23-17. The strong teams in that Mountain South division really pushed down some of the records. But Roswell is well in the playoff hunt. There's 2 weeks to go in the season. So that's where things are right now in the Pecos League.
And nobody wants to sleep on Garden City either at 32-8. They're 7.5 up on the Trinidad Triggers, excuse me.
Right.
And are playing great. I just sent him to Disney there with that mispronunciation. That was, oh boy. So North Platte's won 3 in a row, and I'm picturing in my mind in the locker room the scene from Major League. We win 3 in a row. That's a winning streak.
Yeah. It really helps.
It's fantastic.
Winning streaks help.
That's fantastic. Well, Kobe was great.
Right. We'll be able to follow him through the end of the Pecos League season. Hopefully we'll be able to give a report on his first outing as a Mahoning Valley Scrapper.
Wouldn't that be great? We should try to get him back just so he can give us a little bit of a idea of the flavor of the league. But for more information on the Pecos League schedule, check out their website at pecosleague.com. You can catch all the action at pecosleague.tv as well. And finally, if you're a hardcore baseball fan, you need to join the Society for American Baseball Research, the premier baseball community. Offering an amazing baseball buffet of options to explore your fandom, SABR boasts more than 35 different research communities, over 70 regional chapters, and innumerable opportunities to connect with baseball minds across the world. For more information, go to sabr.org/join today. Hey, Evan, this has been a good talk. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's always fun, and the plot's really developing in Pecos League. And the other thing to point out is that Pecos League really exists to help players move up. And a few weeks ago, we talked to Jerry Liang, who finally made pro baseball at age 28. Last year, we talked to Alex Westman, who just loves to play baseball and feels alive when he sees those fastballs whizzing by. He's a 4-year veteran of the Pecos League. But this week we got to talk to Kobe and hear all about how he's moving up. And that's what the Pecos League really likes to do. So it's a great story to hear about how Kobe's moving up in just a few days.
All right. Well, good luck to Kobe. We appreciate having him on today. We appreciate everybody out there for listening to our podcast. For Evan Katz, I am Bruce McCord. We appreciate you for listening. Thanks a lot. And we will see you next week.